Hello, and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast. I am a woman on a mission to gather a cadre of writers, thinkers, and teachers who are transforming the world one character at a time. And it all starts with one thing: a deep understanding of human motivation, why people do what they do, and the forces that drive them. To gain that understanding, I am mining the intersection of psychology, theology, and philosophy to make you a better writer. This is episode 58, Magnificence as the Driver of a Plot. Yesterday, I invited you to play with the feelings that surrounded magnificence. This was just an exercise of getting used to the concept of magnificence, just in its general sense as best you understand the term, and imagining yourself in a situation where suddenly an opportunity was opening up before you where you could see yourself blossoming into full magnificence. I invited you to explore the full triad of emotions, although I didn't put the image up that I have up today, because today I want to just take it a little bit more solidly. We're going to say that magnificence has to do with taking the lid off our natural state of arriving at our true greatness. It takes a lot of energy to keep magnificent under wraps, and we do that rather readily. And the crazy thing about magnificence is that when you release it, it has all the energy that it needs to blossom. But we are writers, and that means that we have to at some point get ourselves out of our own heads and into the minds of our readers and be thinking about, if we wanted to use magnificence as the theme for a plot, how would that change how we think about magnificence? And what I would like you to explore a little bit today, we're just still imagining things here. If you imagined yourself creating a story around magnificence, it would be very easy to get all interested in your story and the directions you want to go, and that's vital. You would absolutely have to do that. But I would like to also invite you as a writer to think about how could you present the concept of magnificence to your reader? How would you open it up for them? Because certainly when you're writing a story, especially if it's the key driver of your plot, your character is going to have her own reaction to that magnificent, her own path that will be the events of your story. So you can't leave it completely up to your reader what the emotions are going to be, but it's very exciting if you give your reader the chance to experience their emotions first. Because if the reader gets a chance to think about their opportunity opening up for magnificence, suddenly the funds are there for the business venture that the character always wanted to engage in. Whatever the thing is, how would you set it up so that your reader could interact with those circumstances first before you show them how your character responds to them? And I would say that's especially important if your character is going to have a lot of depth, because the reader will too, because real humans have a lot of depth. In a way, it's been said, and I should have looked it up to quote who said it, but that each one of us has at least one great novel inside that we could write. And to the degree to which that may be true, I would guess that, hypothesize perhaps, that the reason that would be true is that we have that the characters necessary for a great novel living inside of us in all of their depth. So the challenge comes in, what do you do after you've written your great novel? Well, we're going to write it first, I hope. But then how do you construct more characters that you haven't had living within you for possibly years and decades? So this is an exercise a little bit in how are you going to portray magnificence to your reader? What scene would you set up, and how could you set it up so that the reader has a chance to face it first with whatever their natural reaction would be? Remember when I introduced the concept of zip line, flying down a zip line? That reaction to standing there ready to jump off on a zip line, the individuals are going to have different reactions to that idea. I'm scared of heights. I don't even know if I could do it. Even contemplating it is like, ah. But if I were going to write a story where that is an important scene, I would want to let my reader stand there for a moment, feeling however they feel, before I impose on them how my character feels. Then, when you're ready to say, how is your character feeling? Then you can go to all of these other sources that will help you describing emotions, if that's what you want to do. Or I would invite you to even take it back one step further and say, magnificence, your character is going to have a certain reaction to magnificence. Why? Why? Can you first let your reader experience your character in a way that would enlighten your reader as to how your character is likely to respond to having a fabulous opportunity suddenly open up? Because if, besides letting your reader have their own feelings, if you've been able to presage how your character will respond, your reader will have, during that moment when it's them in the circumstance by themselves, they will have their own reaction, and they will have their presumed reaction of your character, and then see it. And the richness of all of those combining is part of what makes a book really memorable. So play with that idea for today. Play with the concept of how would you introduce that, the idea of magnificence, as it's going to be the driver of your whole plot. What circumstances would you set up, and how would you put it out there for your reader? So before we go, I'd like to remind you that I have a book that's coming out really soon. The book is called Writing with Emotion: How to Inspire Your Readers and Get Them to Remember What You Write Forever. It's a formalization of what we've been chatting about here, with some very, very specific how-tos to help you build an emotional journey for your readers. Everyone knows that it's important, but how do you do it? This book will give you some practical techniques and ideas that you can blend with your own skill as a writer to produce a truly memorable story for your readers. So I hope you will consider the book. If you visit my website, KathleenSpracklin.com/earlybird, you can sign up to be given an announcement when the book is ready to be ordered. Again, it should be quite soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.